Yo, welcome to the 33rd episode of Restart Diaries. If anyone's watching me for the first time on YouTube, let me introduce myself. My name is Shanmukh. I'm a mechanical engineer at a company named SynSeal. I'm currently residing in New Jersey, and I pursued my master's in mechanical engineering with concentration in design and manufacturing at Clemson University back in 2021, and I graduated in 2023 May. And in this video, I want to share everything I know about scholarship, details about assistantships, how to get assistantships, how I got my assistantship and my scholarships when I applied for my master's back in 2021. Coming to the scholarships, there are three types of scholarships. One, direct scholarships offered by the university along with your admission letter. Two, assistantship-based scholarships where you assist a professor or a department with certain work, and in return you'll be either offered full tuition waiver or some part of your tuition is waived, and also stipend hourly based on the type of assistantship you are employed. And the third type of scholarship is private scholarships where certain firms are willing to sponsor you the tuition fee amount and they will pay tuition on behalf of you to the university. And in this video, I'll not be covering that topic because I don't have personal experience with that, because all of my scholarships or the offers of scholarships that I've gotten are either from university directly or from the assistantship offer that I got at my university. And coming to the direct scholarships, these are slightly rarer in comparison to assistant-based scholarships. And one of the easiest ways to get a direct scholarship from a university is by applying to a safe university. And what I mean by safe university is that you should be 100% confident that you'll get into that university based on your profile, And in my case, such universities were University of Cincinnati and Texas Tech. And I had a decent profile, not so good, not so bad. I had about 8.5 GPA in my bachelor's, 315 in GRE and 7.5 in IELTS. And with couple of research papers at the time of application, and University of Cincinnati, Texas Tech and some other universities were in my safer university list. And not only I got admit from these universities, but in Texas Tech I got 50% tuition fee waiver, whereas University of Cincinnati offered me 70% direct scholarships, and these scholarships were not tied to any of the assistantships. It's as simple as me joining that university and getting that scholarship. That's it. And now let's talk about assistantship-based scholarship. These are scholarship offered along with the job, and by job mean being an assistant to professor, either assisting with research work, teaching work, grader work, etc., or being an assistant to a department, assisting or managing some activities of the department or some other works associated with the department. And now let's say this job comes with a perk, and one of the perks is waiving of tuition completely, or a part of your tuition is waived for the time of employment, and you're also paid hourly stipend based on the position. And now let's talk about types of assistantships. There are primarily 4 types of assistantships offered by university. You might hear or know other assistantships by a different name, but they definitely will fall into one of these 4 assistantships or the responsibilities I'll be talking about these assistantships. And first on the list is research assistantship. This is an assistantship position where a student assists research with their research work. Typically, this position is assigned to PhD students because PhD students spend on an average of 3 to 4 years or more to complete their thesis under that professor, and most of their thesis work is directly related to the research work that professor is willing to achieve. And that's the reason typically you see a lot of PhD students pursuing research assistantship position under their thesis guide. It's slightly difficult and uncommon for a master's student to secure a research assistantship unless the master's student has convinced a professor to guide his thesis work. And the second one is teaching assistantship, and the primary job responsibilities here would be assisting professor with the teaching part of his job, that is hosting doubt sessions or grading assignments and exams, or generating questions for their homework or for the upcoming exam, something like that. And often you'll be seeing master students securing teaching assistantship much easier in comparison to research assistantship, and this is because most of the courses you'll be helping a professor with are the courses which you've already pursued in your bachelorate degree, and if the professor is convinced that you have really good knowledge and grasp about that subject, you're likely to receive teaching assistantship. In fact, my scholarship back at Clemson University was associated with a teaching assistantship position, and I was a teaching assistant in second semester for Foundations of Thermal and Fluid Sciences, and in third semester I was teaching assistant for the course Design of Machine Elements. And this teaching assistantship position gave me full fee waiver for that semester, so I was teaching assistantship for 2 semesters. So technically I had full fee waiver for 2 semesters, that is 1 year of masters. And the position also paid me $10 to $12 per hour stipend, and I could work up to 20 hours a week depending on the work schedule. And the third type of assistantship is graduate grader assistantship. This more of falls into subset of teaching assistantship, where the primary job here would be only to evaluate exam papers, projects or homeworks of students in the class and then just allot them a grade. And this is also slightly easier to secure in comparison to teaching assistantship or research assistantship. And just like teaching assistantship, you need to have good grasp over the subject, and you should be able to convince professor that you are capable of grading their homework or their exam papers. And of course, the stipend or the scholarship associated with this position would be slightly lower in comparison to teaching assistantships and research assistantships, as the job responsibilities are slightly less compared to teaching assistantship and research assistantship. And the last type is graduate departmental assistantship, and this is a position where you will be supporting department with academic work, administrative work, event coordination, department logistics, etc. Most of the times the person who's in this position is the face of the department while answering questions from students, or while answering some admission or administrative questions from potential students that would be joining the university. And oftentimes these positions are also coupled with stipend and some amount of scholarship that will help you to waive your tuition by certain percentage. And now that we know what are the types of assistantships, let's see what are the ways you can secure these assistantships. First and easiest and best way is to pursue thesis-based masters. And what I mean by this is, when you are pursuing thesis-based master, you need a thesis guide, and typically the professor who agrees to be your thesis guide would be providing you with some kind of assistantship, because pursuing thesis-based masters not only helps the student's profile, but it also helps the research profile of the professor, and hence the professor or the thesis guide would typically award you with a research assistantship or teaching assistantship based on the availability under him. And now the question comes of how to reach out a professor and convince him to be your thesis guide, or guide your thesis work throughout your masters. The best and efficient way I did to get more replies from professors, or my friends or my peers did, was reading professors' work and noting down some of the very minute details of their work, and emailing professor saying, hello professor, I've read these 2 papers of yours and I really liked these parts, and I would like to see if there is an extension of research work that can be done on these details that I'm actually interested in. And since everyone loves to hear about their work, typically when you do this, you get a response from professor saying, hey, let's meet and let's discuss about it. And once you get opportunity for discussion, it's more of an interview where instead of hiring manager, here you are convincing a professor to hire you for the teaching assistantship position or research assistantship position via him being the guide of your thesis during the master's program. That's it. And second way of securing assistantship is being extremely proficient in certain skill. One of the mechanical engineer graduate student, one of my peers back at Clemson University, was very proficient in MATLAB and Python. So he got hired in computer science department in some research program where he was not doing thesis, but he was just assisting a research group with some MATLAB and Python coding, and he got paid and he was on scholarship. And final way of securing assistantship is, sometimes departments roll out applications for graduate teaching assistantships or graduate grading assistantships, and this is how I got my assistantship, where our mechanical engineering department sent out application forms to every mechanical engineer graduate student in the program at that time, and I just applied and I got in. That's it. And one final suggestion from my side would be, if you're desperate about scholarships or assistantships, be aggressive towards pursuing thesis-based masters. And by aggressive, I mean be professionally persistent with professors about them being your thesis guide, but also do not pester professors by emailing every day or every, once in every 2 days. Be professional. You can add reminder once a week, but not daily. And that's it for the video. Just wanted to share my thoughts on scholarship, assistantships, and of course my experiences. Hope this video helped you in one or the other way, and I'll see you in tomorrow's vlog. Bye bye.